Welcome to Speaking from Experience, a District 123 podcast hosted by Ayesha Hussain. With Toastmasters International spanning over 148 countries, with more than 270,000 members, the annual quest for excellence unfolds as more than 30,000 members compete for the top spot at the World Championship of Public Speaking. District 123 has been a launching pad for many of these Toastmasters determined to compete at the world stage. In this podcast, you'll have the pleasure of hearing from some of those accomplished speakers as they share their experiences and reveal what it took to achieve excellence in the world of public speaking. Get ready for insightful conversations with members from District 123 as they share with you their journey to greatness.
Hello. Welcome to our very first Season 1, Episode 1, Speaking with Experience, with your very own host, Ayesha Hussain, presented by District 123. And our very first guest is 5 times District Champion, 4 times Semi-Finalist, and brace yourselves, in 2021, 3rd place winner at World Championship of Public Speaking, thus becoming first in 25 years out of Southern Ontario, first Canadian of Southern Ontario, bringing back home the trophy. Now, for a few who don't know what World Championship of Public Speaking is, it is Olympics of Public Speaking. And I know most of you have already guessed who my guest is, but you've only guessed his name. What you don't know is he's famous, he's known, he's charismatic. He is Roger Caesar.
Well, thank you very much, Ayesha. I'm so happy to be here with you. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us here. And as we just said, that he brought the trophy home, we have a special treat. Not only do we have the guest, we will show you how he brought the trophy home. He brought it beginning with the speech called Didn't See It Coming. Didn't see it coming.
As the rain cascaded onto the windshield of the car, I quickly tried to gain control of it by placing one hand on the steering wheel, the other frantically wiping the fog that had formulated on the glass. Suddenly, I could feel the vehicle veering to the left, then right, then sputtering, stalling, and stopping on the side of the road. Many thoughts ran through my mind. What happened? How did I get here? Could I have done things differently? And then it hit me. Roger, you are one stubborn fool. Contest chair, and anyone who's ever wished they could turn back the hands of time. Life has a funny way of teaching you the most predictable lessons at the most unpredictable times. Who knew that 6 words would change me forever and could change your life too? It all started when I was 18 years old, ready to begin college, when my dad came to me enthusiastically and said, "Raj, boy, I'm real proud of you, you matured." Did I all of a sudden become his favorite? Because I started laughing, wondering, who is he talking to? But I let him finish. "You worked 2 jobs, showed great responsibility. Today you get your own car." Now I'm thinking, did Christmas come early and I didn't get the memo? Or is this Dad's brilliant plan to get rid of me quickly? You decide. But on that day, true to his word, we searched for that perfect car for me. And there it was, as if the heavens had opened up around it. A red sports car, drop top, mag wheels, 2-seater. Girls. Now Dad looked at the car, looked at me, looked at the car. "We'll take this one." A Ford Taurus. Snapped the dream right out of me. I see he picked the perfect car for him. Have you ever had your dreams crushed right before your eyes? Yet Dad's words were simple. "Son, it's your first car. Take care of it and be grateful." Plus, you could take the family around if we need you to. I was Uber before Uber became Uber. Now, I know what you're thinking. What a spoiled brat, right? I mean, at least I got a car. And in hindsight, maybe I was. But it wasn't my perfect car. In fact, I hated it. Didn't appreciate it. And from that moment on, did the bare minimum to take care of it. Car fluids? Ah. A car wash? Oh, man, I'll let the rain take care of that. And gas? $5, please. I just simply didn't care. Have you ever been there? It took one night out with friends for me to truly understand what Dad meant. And while driving, I could distinctly smell something coming from the hood of the car, but I ignored it. And on the way home, I could smell something again, but I ignored it. It wasn't until smoke started billowing out of the hood of the car that I realized, well, maybe I should have put those fluids in after all. And that's when the car started to sputter, stall, and stop, leaving us stranded and scared on the side of the road. Why didn't I do things differently? Why did I wait? Now, frustrated, I knew my only choice was to call. Dad, have you ever called your parents at 4 o'clock in the morning? Was it anything positive? When Dad arrived, his expression, cold as ice. If his eyes could talk, they would speak volumes. But he said, and at home, he asked, when did you know? Since 9 o'clock. The disappointment in his eyes crushed my spirit. And as he laid his hands on my slumped shoulders, what he said next, I will never forget. Son, the next time you're feeling ungrateful for what you have, learn to appreciate your blessings and don't wait until it's too late. Don't wait until it's too late. Those 6 powerful words have remained with me to this day because over time I've learned that it's more than just a car. You see, Dad's lesson was that in life, it's about the value and appreciation we place on what we have and the relationships we forge. So let me ask you this. Come here. Is there anyone or anything in your life that you may be ignoring, taking for granted, and the situation is billowing out smoke? Is it sputtering, stalling, or possibly stopping on the side of your life's road? Because on that night, I didn't see it coming. But the moment I decided to take Dad's advice, my appreciation for everything changed. And when I didn't wait until it was too late, relationships improved. Everything from family to friends, heck, even my car. Because it's not about what you drive. It's what drives you. And now I'm driven by my blessings. Are you? If our world today has taught us anything, it's to not lose sight of our blessings and to understand that nothing in this world is perfect. But you have the power to ignite your engines and fuel what is perfect for you. The things you have, the people you love, and those precious moments you share. After all, it's clear now that all it takes is 6 words. Don't wait until it's too late. Contest chair.
Wow, Roger. That was an amazing speech.
Thank you.
But before I ask you about the speech, I know our audience have a burning question. Why did you decide to join Toastmasters? And so many people join Toastmasters. Not everybody compete. What was that inspired you to go and compete? And how did you know you were ready for world stage?
A loaded question, Ayesha. I'll try to break down everything for you. When I started in Toastmasters, it was primarily because I wanted to feel comfortable in small settings. Most people join Toastmasters because they either have a speech to do or a presentation, or they just don't feel comfortable in front of large crowds. Large crowds did not scare me. Situations like this, walking into a boardroom and having to speak to 10 people in there and try to sell myself, I would get nervous. I would sometimes start to perspire. And a situation that had happened where I had went in to see a brand new supervisor of one of the companies that I have been going to for many years. When I walked in there and tried to introduce myself, I didn't realize that he was an introvert. And I'd never experienced anything like that before. So the conversation, which was about probably 5 minutes, felt like 5 hours in there. And when I left there, I came back to my office, said a few things that I can't say on camera, but I realized in that moment I needed help. I needed to feel comfortable in those situations at all times, and I never wanted to be intimidated by anyone, anywhere, anytime. So that was the reason why I started Toastmasters. When you ask me, how did I know I wanted to be on the world stage and stuff like that, I think everybody has a story when it comes to Toastmasters where somebody at some point sees something that they didn't see. And I always refer to the 2014 world champion of public speaking, Dhananjaya Hederachi, who said, "I see something in you, but I don't know what it is." And I think that's exactly what it was for me. I did my first icebreaker speech, and when I finished, a gentleman was sitting on the far left side. His name is Sanjay Sharma. I've talked about him many times. And he came over to me and he put his hand on my shoulder and he said, "You're going to be a champion one day. I can feel it." And I laughed at him. I laughed hysterically. I said, "That's not what I'm here for. I am literally only here to feel comfortable in small settings." And as I continued to deliver speeches each time, he was in that corner and he would still put that little finger up and go, "You'll be a champion. You can do it." And he's the one who forged that feeling inside me to say, okay, let's pursue this. Let's see what this is all about, this part of Toastmasters. And that's why I started. Yeah, I think that was what it was. It was him doing that. I've always been the type of person who loves a challenge.
Right.
You challenge me, I will go the distance for that challenge. And when he kept saying that to me, I realized if he's seeing that, then let me see if I can challenge myself to do the same.
It is always nice to have that one person who can see that skill that you've not seen it yourself.
Of course, of course.
That brings me back to the speech. The speech, I'm sure, has touched the audience in many ways. I mean, it got you the trophy. So I want to ask you, why that particular speech and what it signified to you?
Well, that was my semifinal speech. Obviously, if for those who don't know the process when it comes to the International Speech Contest, you start at the club, you go to the area, then you move on to the division, of course, the district. And if you are successful at the district level, then you head to the semifinals and then the finals. That speech I started back at the club level. And the reason why I wanted to do that particular speech was because that's a very famous story with my dad and myself. And of course, every time we talk about it, we laugh because it truly showed how ignorant I was to understanding the beauty of appreciating the things that are given to you. I never liked the car. I wanted a different car. And when he gave me that particular one, I never appreciated it at all. But the lesson that comes out of that is that you don't not number one, you appreciate everything that's given to you and what you have. But number two, the main message was don't wait until it's too late, because in this particular story, because I didn't take care of it, because I didn't look after it, it broke down on me. And my dad's words rang in my head, and it's a lesson for everyone when it comes to anything in their lives. And that's what I loved about putting this particular speech together. Your stories are personal,
Right.
but the message is universal. And that message can apply to anything in anyone's life. Like, don't wait until things are breaking down before you fix it. Relationships, work, cars in my case, but anything in life, if you know it needs fixing, fix it before it's too late.
It's a beautiful message, and I'm sure it strikes a chord with everyone who hears it.
I'm hoping.
That now shows a human side of you.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that many people who are trying to make way into public speaking, they also manage a full-time career. Most people.
Mm-hmm.
Because, hey, let's face it, we don't have that luxury to say, stop everything and go after your dream.
Yeah.
Knowing what I know about you, you also run parallel Caesar Transport.
Mm-hmm.
How do you balance that entire public speaking, because that's a full-time job,
Mm-hmm.
and maintain the whole balance of running a business on its own?
Mm-hmm.
And while you share your own secret, how would you tell our new aspiring speakers a tip that they can use it in their life to balance that?
That's a good question. Number one, for me, it's a slightly different. This is a family-owned business. My father started it. Well, we're going to be celebrating 40 years in business. When I took over, and again, ironically, that's when I started Toastmasters. So I was probably about 17 years ago, I took over the business, and then 5 years in was when that situation happened. So I've been in Toastmasters for 12 years now. But it was self-sufficient, and it ran for itself. We have great staff here. Many of my employees know exactly what they're doing. So I was able to go through my passion. Right? I was able to do that. Now, it doesn't mean that it's easy, because owning a business and trying to also be at the top of your game as a speaker was difficult.
Right.
But because I had the support and the help of people around me, I was able to enjoy being a public speaker as well, or trying to get to that level while having this work out for itself. And I would tell people in general, if they have a job and they still want to learn the ideas and the craft of speaking, take advantage at work. If you have the opportunity at work to step up for a position or to do a presentation at work, take those opportunities to craft your skills as a speaker.
Right.
So that while you're still at Toastmasters or wherever it is that you are learning to do public speaking, that you are also using it in your profession, and it allows you to continue. Like for me, it's when I go to meetings, how do I speak there? Am I using table topics well? Am I using those skills that I've learned in Toastmasters to help me and motivate those that are around me? I try my best. I'm not always perfect, but I try my best. So that's where the balance comes.
Okay. So that tells me now how you're balancing your public speaking and your business. But I also know you support various charities.
Yeah.
Any particular charity that's closest to your heart and you would want to bring it attention to our audience?
Yeah, I did a speech, and a lot of people in Toastmasters have heard this speech before. I won't give it out completely because it's one of my keynote speeches that I perform. But it was about meeting a homeless man. And at the time, I passed over him numerous times, never realizing that my thoughts and the things that I was going through on that day superseded his humanity in that moment. And from that, I started to realize how important it was to help those who are in need like that. There's a place here in the Brampton area called Knight's Table, which feeds the homeless. And every year I've been donating there, and I go and I bring food as well. Something small that I do that I feel, because of what I went through with that particular person, is my way of giving back. And I've loved working with them. I've loved going there and trying to make a difference. And I think that's what's important with anybody, is that you find a way to make some difference in the lives of someone or others in this world, if we can.
No, I love the idea of giving back. And the way I see it, that if together we all give whatever little we can give back, our society would be a much better place to be in.
Yeah, most definitely.
Since this whole topic is about speaking, I will get right to the business now.
All right.
And let's get some juice for our aspiring speakers. Is, do you get nervous before you go to the stage? And if you do, how do you handle it? What would you tell our audience and say, hey, do this little trick and you'll be all ready to go on the stage?
I'm going to correct you on that. There is no one thing you can do as a speaker. I want to be very clear about that. I don't want people to look here and say, oh, that must be the magic trick. Everybody has their own certain ways in which they can handle nervousness. I have been able to handle it by using music.
Oh, yes.
Many people who know me know that I love music. I always give this little joke that when my daughter was 3 years old, she was sitting in the back of the car and we're driving along, and of course I have some music playing at the time, and the best part of that song came along, and of course I started bobbing my head and moving to the music. And in the back, my daughter turns around and goes, "Yeah, Daddy, your neck knows." What I realized in that moment is how beautiful music can change your entire mood. You can have a bad day, jump in your car and hear your favorite song playing, and the first thing you will do is either crank it up or start moving your head to that music. It'll change your whole view of that moment. That's what music does for me. I have my job in the daytime, but when I go on stage, music takes me away from all of the hustle and bustle of what happened during the day, and allows me to calm myself down, get into a nice frame of mind to go on that stage. Number two, you can use yoga, you can use stretching, you can use meditation, you can go for a walk. Anything that allows you to be relaxed before you speak is important. And I tell this to even my clients. Find something that allows you to feel very relaxed before you speak. Now, you will still be nervous because everybody gets nervous. Even I do. But you learn to, as they say, put the butterflies in formation, right? You put them into formation, and so that they're not going all over the place. And also understand that wherever you are speaking, they are there for you. They want to hear you.
Yes.
So be that person that entertains whatever it is, even if it's a presentation at work. You are going out there to make sure that you help motivate, inspire, or inform your audience,
Right.
because they are there for you. So if you have that mentality that, hey, they're here for me, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do what I have to do to make them feel good, then it's a lot easier. But before that, find something that allows you to be relaxed. Music is one for me.
Interesting. Music does calm me. Actually, I have different music for my moods.
So do I. So do I.
So now that we've dealt with nervousness and we are on the stage. Question for you would be that how important it is to bring your authentic self, to be able to be vulnerable, that you connect to the audience, and how do you decide when to stop? As in, nobody's 100% vulnerable on the stage. To what level is it important that gets you connected to the audience?
Okay. If you will allow me or indulge me in taking this answer for a bit of a stretch here.
Yes, go ahead.
I often tell people that your stories are the gateway to your soul and the pathway to an audience's heart. I'm going to repeat that. Your stories are the gateway to your soul and the pathway to an audience's heart. Meaning that when you allow yourself to be vulnerable and share those inner stories, that is what connects to the audience the most. It's not the flash in the pan. It's not the rah-rah on stage. That may get you a couple laughs. That might get you a moment. But when you can look within yourself and find those stories that you have gone through and allow the audience to feel it, that is when they connect with you the best. The problem is, Ayesha, is that oftentimes people are afraid to share those stories.
Yes.
And the reason why is because they want to throw it in the back of their minds. They want to lock it up, take the key and throw it away. Why? Because they don't want others to hear those stories because they're embarrassing, they made them mad, sad, whatever you felt. Well, more importantly, you don't want to remember it yourself. So it's easier not to talk about it or think about it. Here's something that I learned. Those are the stories that someone in the audience on that particular day is waiting to hear from you. I'm sure you as a speaker have had it happen many times where you've done a speech and someone comes to you and says, I needed to hear that.
Yes.
I'm going through that. I didn't realize you had that happen. Can you share how you got through it? That has happened to me.
That's very surreal.
Right?
Yes.
On many occasions, that has happened to me. I'll give you an example of one really quickly where I went and I spoke at this place. I was doing a speech about fear and overcoming that fear and not letting fear fool you, but let it refuel you. And there was a gentleman that came up to me after everybody came over and he said, I wasn't going to come here today, but I saw your poster all over the office. And I said, well, I don't know who this guy is, so let me just go and check it out. And he said, I'm so glad that I came because at 4 o'clock today, I am supposed to be going to the lawyer's office and signing papers to divorce my wife. I've always felt it was her fault, and I blamed her for many of the things that went wrong in our relationship. He said, after listening to you, I realized I was fearing what I had done and masking it as her problem, not mine.
That's deep.
And I appreciate your speech today. And I think I'm going to go there and try to work things out. That's the power of your speeches. When you think that it's an embarrassing one, which it was an embarrassing speech that I gave, but I was having fun with it. But at the same time, there's a person who's in that audience who's waiting for that particular moment to happen so that they can say, okay, that makes sense. And that's the same with this speech that I did, the semifinal speech, and even my world championship final speech as well. How many people have reached out to me and said, my God, you know what? I've been waiting too long. I've been waiting too long on this, and I had this thing that I had to fix, and I never fixed it, and I never worked on this relationship. These are the things I've been going through, and this speech resonates with me.
Yes.
So that's what it is. Your stories are the gateway to your soul and the pathway to an audience's heart. Never worry about sharing your stories. But I will add this. Make sure that you have dealt with that problem before you share the story. If you have not dealt with the embarrassing or the sad or the heart-wrenching moment that you want to share, chances are you will take your audience over the edge. And as speakers, we are taught you bring the audience to the edge, but you never make them go over by emotion.
Agreed. In words of David Odie, when I was doing the World Championship class with Craig Valentine, he said, "You speak from your scar, not your wounds."
Yes, yes. Heal. Heal first before you share the stories. I made that terrible mistake in 2015. And I can share that if you'd like. I made that huge mistake in 2015 when I went to my very first World Championship of Public Speaking semifinals. My grandmother had just passed away 2 days before I was heading to Las Vegas. And my speech was all about her going there, right? And I did not have time to heal. And it completely affected me when I was on that stage. I was in tears. I made mistakes. A lot of people have remembered that speech for the speech, but I have always remembered it because I did not let myself heal. I went up there with the, how did you put it? The
Wound open.
The wound open. I went up there with the wound open rather than with the scar.
Wow, that was an emotional roller coaster there a little bit. But I'd like to now bring the fun side.
All right.
We have a little tricks up our sleeve where we are going to request, as a final request here, for this interview would be where Roger Caesar posts a question for our next upcoming guest. So Roger, hit them.
Well, for the next guest, the question to you is, what makes you a sensational speaker that people want to hear more of? What makes you a sensational speaker that people want to hear more of?
Thank you, Roger. I think they'll be scratching their heads to answer that.
It's a trick question. It's a trick question. Be careful.
But knowing our guest, we know they'll get it.
I'm glad.
Thank you for having us and giving us your time. We appreciate it. And that's a wrap from us. Signing off, your host, Ayesha Hussain. Till next time.
When I was a young child, my mama told me, son, don't ever let them make you afraid and never let them see you run. So to